everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Andrea of the Knitting PT, and this is my YouTube podcast where I talk about all things fiber and yarn and knitting related, along with some wellness on the side. I am a physical therapist by day. I work in an outpatient orthopedic setting, and on Instagram I put out reels every week on Fridays with posture tips, exercise tips, ergonomics, all these things to help your body stay healthy while you craft. So welcome. If you're returning, thank you for sticking with me and continuing to watch. If you're new, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the podcast. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off with talking about my FO. And I realize now that I actually have two, and one of them is not here in this room. So I will probably just stick a photo of it. But the first FO I have to talk about is the In My Sweater vest. So I'll pop a picture here of my daughter wearing it. This is the In My Pocket sweater pattern by Rachel Kurihara. She's Rachel Knits Things on Instagram. And I modified it to become a vest for my daughter because she didn't want sleeves, she wanted a vest. And so the modifications I did, I knit the 6-year-old size for my daughter so that she has some room to grow into it as well. And all I did was, instead of picking up all the sleeves to do the drop shoulder after, I picked up all the sleeves and I just did an I-cord bind off. Which all the props goes out to Kelly of the Red Pansy for giving me that idea. Originally, I just bound it off with a couple rows of ribbing, but then she said, you know what, an I-cord would look super cool. So I did that, and I ripped out the original bind off and redid it as an I-cord bind off, and it was completely worth the extra effort because it looks so good, it looks so neat, it looks, in my opinion, pretty professional, and my daughter loves it. And so the yarn I knitted up in is, I've actually got the leftovers here. They're both the Red Pansy yarn. The main color was in hibiscus, and the contrast color was lagoon. Yeah. So that was my daughter's sweater vest that I did. My other FO is this. It's my Nirvana Sweater by This Bird Knits. I think her full name is Annie Haas. I think it's Haas. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But she's This Bird Knits on Instagram, and I think that's her Ravelry store name too. So this is Nirvana Sweater. I'm going to stand so you can see the whole thing. It is an all over colorwork sweater. It's actually originally written for long sleeves. I shortened it because I live in Texas and it's always hot. In retrospect, I would have maybe shortened the sleeves up here or knit another row of colorwork before binding off, because I don't know if it's showing by camera, but it's got a little bit of a bell shape to it. And I tried to get it out with blocking, but it didn't quite work. And I think it's because there's some eyelet detail here, and so the eyelets naturally stretch more than colorwork does, and so it's kind of got a slight flare to it. It's kind of doing that a little bit on my hem too, but not too much. Well, sort of, yeah. But it's not terribly noticeable, I guess. I'm okay with it. I think. I might just try reblocking the sleeves to try to cinch them in, or maybe if I really feel up to it, I'll redo the bind off and just bind off an even smaller needle size so that it kind of cinches everything in, or just, bind off, or just decrease a little bit before I do my ribbing, just to kind of bring the sleeve in a little bit more. Anyway, but other than that, I'm really happy with it. The colors I used, the variegated color is the Red Pansy in her August Monet Impressionisms Club, based on the painting Autumn Poplars. Do I have a skein of it sitting here? Oh, yeah, I do. So here it is, caked up. And then the dark blue is Three Irish Girls and their Adorn Luke's base, which is not cashmere. It's actually just merino and nylon. I think it's like 85-15 breakdown. And this colorway is Skinny Jeans. So I really love it. I love how this turned out. It was an absolutely perfect pairing. I love how dramatic the colorwork is, and with the high contrast. And I love that it's variegated in between, because it kind of gives it a lot of depth to the look, a lot of interest beyond even the colorwork itself. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I really love it. Yeah, and I knit this up in just a little bit over 3 weeks, so not too bad. Yeah. And I definitely did get better at color work as I went on. I got much better. My tension was much more even. So I'm really happy with the results of that. Yeah. So in terms of whips, I actually don't have a ton to show you, shockingly. And part of that's because I've been really controlling my castanitis. So I've only cast on one new thing since last week's episode. And this one is a test knit. So this is a test knit for Rachel Kurihara for her Amara sweater. And I'll pop a picture that she posted on Instagram of it here. It's this beautiful cabled brioche pullover sweater. Her sample is knit in 3 strands of mohair held together to create kind of like a DK sport weight. DK sport weight, I don't know. To create DK or sport weight. And I am allergic to mohair and to alpaca, so I just straight up went with a DK weight yarn. And so the yarn I'm using is J'adore Fibers. This is her one-of-a-kind boho teal. Boho teal? Let me double check the label. One-of-a-kind, yes, boho teal in her DK base, 75% merino, 25% nylon. This is what it looks like caked up. So yeah. I've just begun it. It is knit bottom up. And so I've just finished the ribbing yesterday and getting started on the cable and brioche. You can't see much of it yet because I'm just like right in the beginning. I'm only like 3 rows in, I think. So I think next time I film, I have much more to show you. But yeah, I'm really excited. The sweater itself looks so cushy and luxurious and comfy. I think my version will definitely be comfy. It might not look as luxurious because it doesn't have that halo that mohair or suri has. But, you know, I think it'll be good. And it'll be good for people who are like me and can't handle mohair or suri to see what it looks like worked up in a non-fuzzy, halo-y base. But yeah. Look how pretty that is. Let's see what else. I am almost done with the first sleeve of my husband's sweater. So I'd said last time that my goal was to be done with the first sleeve by like mid-October. I'm definitely gonna meet that goal. I was actually hoping to meet it last night, but then it took much longer than I thought it would, so I decided to just do it later or to just finish it a different day. So here's the first sleeve. And you can see here I started doing the decreases before binding off. I've got like more to decrease to go. I'm only maybe a third of the way there in terms of decreasing. Yeah, I think just a third of the way there. Yeah, and then after you decrease, then you block it and you seam it in. And so what I think I'm going to do is I am going to block it and seam it while I'm working on the second sleeve, just to make sure it looks okay. So if I need to make any modifications to the second sleeve to make it fit better, then I can do that. Yeah. I think that's what I'll do. Yep. And this is again, the black is Black Pearl in Dream Color Classy. And the blue is Forest Fiber Friends, for Forest Fiber Art Friends. Forest Fiber Art Yarns? I don't remember the exact last word. This is a colorway Lovebirds, also in a worsted weight. Yeah, I guess I can give you an update on my Willa tee. I feel like it doesn't look that different. I mean, I've gotten much further on the body, that's for sure. So here's my Willa tee. Hold up the right side. Yeah, so I've gone further on the body. I'm probably like maybe 4 inches in on the body. Yeah. I haven't had a lot of knitting time where it's been like mindless knitting, so I haven't worked on it as much. I've been spending a lot of my time working on the Nirvana or working on my husband's on the Rift sweater sleeves instead. So yeah, but we'll get there. I'm not planning to cast on anything new until the September Monet yarn comes in, and I'll cast on then for that. But otherwise, I'm trying to hold off on really casting anything new. Yeah. I want to apologize if I seem a little off today. I am feeling a little off. I had some workplace drama this week, and it's just been a lot. I can't go into detail, and I don't really want to go into detail on here. But yeah, that's why I'm a little like headspace is a little like quiet, not here, and that's why I'm I think a lot less eloquent than I usually am. So I apologize. Yeah. So let's move on to stash acquisitions. So I've gotten a bunch of things in the mail. And I think the next time I film an episode, I'll have a lot more to show you too, because I self-medicated for my workplace drama earlier this week by placing a really large order of yarn. So I'll have a lot to show you guys next time of what I ordered to try to cheer myself up. But I'll show you what I've got in the mail. So I've gotten a couple of pre-orders in. So one of them was a pre-order from Olivia and Oliver Fibers, and this is by Tam, and she's in the Netherlands. So this is a colorway Luau, and this is from her Aloha collection. And this is in her DK base, which is 100% merino. Look at that. It's like this beautiful tan beige, not natural, tan brownish base with all these speckles on top. Yeah, I think like very kind of like neutralish, but with pops of color, and very fall wintry with the warm brown gray tones. Yeah, but I got 4 of them, and I don't know what I'm gonna make with them yet. Something, a garment of some kind. So I got 4 of these. Another close up for you. They're so pretty. So this is Treehouse Knits. She is based in Austin, Texas, which is where I am. This is from her Cocoa collection, and this is the colorway Everlasting, and this is on DK. Yeah, this beautiful, like, I don't even know how to describe it, like a brownish reddish color with black and black speckles throughout, blackish, brownish, grayish speckles. Yeah, and I got a sweater quantity of these. I guess I had a theme going, huh? Though, I mean, I didn't place these orders at the same time. Then I ordered some Magpie because they sent an email promoting their Equinox worsted line, which is 60% silk, 40% linen. And Jacqueline Cieslak is coming out with a design soon in this base. And so they had a promo code for newsletter subscribers. So of course, how could I say no? Plus it's a plant-based fiber blend, which I've been saying I want to try more plant-based fiber blends. And so I got this in Tupelo Honey. So I got enough to make the new pattern that Jacqueline is coming out with. And I cannot remember the name of the pattern right now off the top of my head, but I will pop it here. But yeah, I'm super excited for when that pattern comes out to knit it up. So far, it feels interesting to me. So I don't have a lot of experience with linen, but it's not as rough as some linen I felt, but it definitely has that linen like stringy quality to it. And I think it doesn't feel rough because of the silk. It's 60% silk. But I love how it looks. Just look at that depth of color. Yeah, so it'll definitely be interesting to work with it, because I can already tell from squishing it there's not a lot of bounce to it, which, you know, I would expect since it's not an animal fiber. But yeah, I'm super curious. I'm really excited to work this up. All right, and last, I got one of my Woolberry pre-orders. This is from her Road Trip collection. So I was pretty good with this one. And so first I got a skein of Acadia on Berry DK. It's beautiful blue. So I just got one skein on DK, and I'm eventually going to use it in a colorwork sweater. I just don't know what yet, and I don't know what I'm using it with yet. But I decided, you know what, I will worry about it later, or something else will come up in my stash, and they'll pair well together. But yeah. And then I got also this Lake Elsinore in Berry Merino, which is 100% superwash merino. Look how pretty it is. So like light green and some pinks and light greens throughout and blues. And I got it to pair with a single pearl. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I told you the wrong thing. So I got these to pair together. I told you, my mind is not like where it should be. I got these two paired together. So I got a single pearl and Berry DK, and I got, I think, 4 of these. I'm just showing you 2. But this is a beautiful neutral whitish off-white color. And I got it to pair with the Acadia together. And this is to make a Celosia sweater by Jennifer Steingass. Pop a picture here. Yeah, and then the Lake Elsinore is what I'm going to eventually find something to pair with. Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, and I forgot about this. So, in terms of acquisitions, I got something else. It's not yarn. This is by Gabriella Tremino, my good friend. And so a while ago, Gabriella put up pre-orders for these resin crochet hooks and trays. So y'all probably like, crochet hooks? You don't crochet from what we know. And I don't really. I really only crochet like amigurumis for my kids. But I do a lot of provisional cast-ons nowadays, so I thought, why not? You know, I get a pretty crochet hook to do my provisional cast-ons, and I get to support my friend. Win-win. So you can see this is like a clear resin. There's some sparkle in there and some, I don't know what it is, gold foil, I think. And there's some flowers in there too. Yeah. Look how pretty it is. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And then I also got a tray. This is also resin. You can see there's there's glitter in there, and there's flowers that I'm trying to get rid of the glare. She's placed on so beautifully. Yeah, so now this tray sits on my desk, and that's because I usually have like random tapestry needles, crochet hooks, stitch markers, what have you, like T-pins laying around on my desk, and they get buried under stuff pretty often, but now they have a place to all sit together. And they can be out, and I don't have to worry about them getting scattered around like this. Yeah. So thank you, Gabriella. I really love these. They're so pretty. I really love it. So yeah, so that's all I got for you this week. Again, I'm sorry, I'm in like a really weird headspace where I think my brain just feels kind of foggy and kind of just all over the place. I can't really focus very well. But thank you for spending this time with me, even as I'm trying to gather my thoughts half the time. But let's talk about this week's wellness tip. So my wellness tip for you this week is to consider wearing a wrist brace when you're crafting if you're having a lot of pain. Now, for some background on this, so I have a lot of reels out on wrist strengthening, wrist stretching, and those are all things that I continue to advocate and I think you should do even if you don't have pain, and definitely do when you do have pain to help relieve and treat the pain and the muscle tightness. But there are some other things you can do to kind of help with pain relief while you're in the middle of stretching and exercising. And one of them is to wear a brace. So I'll kind of describe how I use my brace. So I have this wrist brace here. And I will link it below. I'm not affiliated. I don't get any financial returns on anything. I wish I did. I don't. And I will admit this brace is a little pricier than the regular brace you would get in CVS or Walgreens. But I think it's well worth the price. It is made by a company called OTPT. I forgot what exactly the letters are, but it's basically a physical therapy company. And they make a bunch of kind of braces and other rehab related things. And so this brace, it's very sturdy. It's got 4 straps here. You slip it on. I'm going to kind of, so you can see there's this rubber, I think it's rubber, yeah, rubber inset in here, and it goes in and it rests on your wrist over here like this, okay? And you can see it's got a divot here. This divot here is to allow room for your nerves and your tendons to pass through without being compressed, okay? And it's got this anti-slip on the other end too, okay? So you put it on. It's a tight fit, as it should be. Put on, and I would put it on like right, so it's right underneath the base of your wrist. So it's not so high up that it constrains your ability to move, but not so low that's doing nothing. Okay, so right up there, and then you fasten it on. You can adjust how tight it is with the straps. Okay, like that. So you can see I can still move my hand and I can still do things, but it does limit my ability of how much I'm moving. And at the same time, it gives me that feedback, that tactile feedback of knowing when my wrist is moving in too much of one direction. So one of the common things that we do when we're knitting is that we ulnarly deviate, which is this way, moving towards your pinky. We ulnarly deviate a lot when we're like doing this repetitive circular motion that we do a lot when we're knitting. And so having this wrist brace on, when you're doing that a lot, you can feel the brace kind of pushing back against you a little, and it gives you that feedback of like, oh, like don't move so far in that direction. It also just helps stabilize your wrist from bending and flexing too much, flexing and extending too much, which can also be another trigger. and it just helps compress the area a little bit, especially if you've got a little bit of swelling, that kind of thing. And it gives a sense of security too. So sometimes I will wear this if my wrist is aching a little bit, or I'm feeling a little bit of pain and I'm feeling like, you know what, I need a little extra help to get me through the day a little bit. And so I'll pop it on for a couple hours. It's also great to wear if you sleep and you tend to sleep with your hands like folded in. Like I used to fall asleep with my hands like this and wake up with a lot of pain because my wrist had been completely bent over for hours on end. So this is great to wear for that because it kind of prevents that. And you know, it's uncomfortable to do that when you're wearing the brace too. So I wouldn't advise like wearing the brace all the time whenever you're knitting or doing something. This is supposed to be something to just help support you for short term. We don't usually advocate for people to wear bracing or casting for long periods of time unless they've broken a bone, because then it can make your muscles atrophy, because then your body starts to rely on the external brace to do the job of stabilization for you, and so then your muscles kind of stop working. Okay. But yeah, so try a wrist brace if you feel like you need some extra help to work on improving your wrist motion and improving your wrist posture. Hopefully that makes sense. Please, if you have any questions, drop them below. Again, I will link this in the description box if you're interested in it. You can, of course, always try any kind of wrist brace, like over the counter from like CVS or Walgreens or your local pharmacy store. Those will work just as well. I just like this one because it's good and it doesn't have to go over my hands over here and go over my palm, which I think would be more annoying to me, and especially with the Velcro, I would feel like it might snag my yarn. So yeah. So that is all I've got for you this week. I apologize, it's a little bit shorter video than usual. Thank you for sticking with me through the end if you're still here after all my kind of incoherent rambling a little bit. I'll be back next time with more knitting, maybe more whips. I don't think I'll have anything done in 2 weeks. Like nothing I've got, well, I'll probably have that sleeve done, but you know, I don't think I'll have any full FOs finished by then. But I hope I'll have a lot more progress on my current whips and have more things to show you. I'll definitely have more yarn to show you. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, I hope you are having a great fall. Happy fall, everyone. And I'll see you guys next time. Happy knitting.